like literally live in a house for 20 years and they're set for the rest of their life. So it's a beautiful thing. And I don't know that a lot of real estate in the world would offer you that. People are retiring out of their homes in New York, and my clients walk away like with dollars, after they've lived in their homes, paid off. And now they're like, oh, we're just going to go live out in the Hamptons, or we're just going to go live out, we're going to go live down south. We're moving to Miami. Like, and it's a beautiful thing to watch people start that chapter of their life because they were able to buy a property in New York at some point.
I agree. I think the Hamptons and New York City, I always say I don't see how you can lose money ever. It's never, okay, yeah, it might be a bad week. It might be a bad month. It might even be a
Yeah.
bad year. You're not going to lose money. It's never going to crash. Everyone says this. It's not.
They've been waiting for it to crash forever. And I'm like, and all that time, meanwhile, in all that time, people have made immense equity. They've made great money. They've taken that money and done amazing things with it. Like, I love New York real estate. I just think it's one of the sexiest things going. I really do.
What's something you learned from Ryan in real estate? Like, is there something that sticks out?
Um, So he's inside of different properties all day long, every single day. And then one time I went to pitch with him. It was like my second day at the firm, and I had prepared all these notes. And I was like, "Well, this is what it is. Like, this is what you need to know. This client." And he's like, "Uh-uh." He's like, "No, just talk to me 5 minutes before." He's like, "We could talk about it 5 minutes before." So we walk around the neighborhood. I had just started the firm. Literally, it was 50 of us at the time. So we were talking, and we were waiting to start the meeting at like I think 8 o'clock that morning. And so I said, "Well, why didn't you want to know about the property until we walk in?" He's like, "No, I can only store that until like I walk in." So I started doing that, like not like really rehearsing or learning the buildings until I have to speak about them, whether it's in a meeting, whether it's on a conference call, or whether it's like to go do a pitch. And I found it so much easier. So you don't have to store everything in your brain. You just have to know it before you are getting ready to address it. So that's one trick I learned from him. But in general, what I think I learned from him is the ability to handle all that weight and still carry yourself with such decency and politeness. Like that is the most impressive thing about him. And it's what I intended on learning by working with him, how to manage the success you say you want. I think he does a really, really a stellar job at doing that.
What about, like the trailer is out. You said, despite even though you're not in it, I can't wait to watch you on the show. You're in it. To be honest with you, if you didn't bring it up, I didn't really notice that you weren't like, I mean, I think because I knew I was chatting with you. So you stood out to me because I was excited to chat with you. You were one of my favorite agents from season one, if you want my
Oh,
opinion.
thank you.
But we have this trailer, and you speaking of Ryan being able to manage it all, you see Ryan crying and saying, there's so much pressure. I don't know if we can take it anymore. I mean, is Ryan on the verge of cracking in season two?
I don't know how he's on the verge of cracking every day because as much craziness as they capture, there's so much more craziness they don't capture. Like it's, I call it a high school. I'm like, this is a high school, and I want no parts of it. Um, I feel like he goes through those things, like these really intense emotions, but like the work requires you to like celebrate the biggest success 1 second and then something falls apart the next second. And it's the ability to change hats and change gears really quick. So yeah, I have seen him. I mean, we've lost major things, and we've gotten really crazy news while we're filming, and it's been really weird. But the ability to just like oh, and then switch gears, it happens like on a dime. It's just happened so quickly. And I think that just to me is that speaks to his leadership because he's able to go through that emotion and then be like, but I got a team to run, let's go. And it happens in 10 seconds. And so I feel like everyone emulates that at the firm and we learn to like really get over our losses very quick, pick ourselves back up, dust ourselves off and get it going. And I think in this game of real estate, that's the one thing you have to get good at. You got to fail really quick and move the fuck on. Like that's what you have to do because if I'm not your cup of tea, that's fine. Let me move on to somebody else. As opposed to crying over you, I need to be over here trying to figure out if I can get this going. And I have gotten so much better and faster at that here because that is the expectation and that's the model. It's like forget what you lost, focus on what you're gaining, focus on what you're winning and put your energy there. And I think that has changed the way I do my business. It's changed the way I actually deal with things in my life, I think honestly. It's like it is what it is. Let's go. And there's a part of that that just keeps you on your shit. It keeps you on your game, right? Because if you get inside your head, you can fall off your own game very quickly. So I feel like it's like almost like a protective mode you have to go into. That happened, that's fine. I'm still great. I'm still good. Let's go. And it's become the way it's really become my work personality, in a lot of ways. It's had to become my work personality, and it's made me a better broker for it. It's made me able to lead my clients in a better way because of it.
I am so the same way in work, in life. I am the exact same way. Look, it takes a minute to get there, but once you get there, I'm the same way. I'm like, okay, let's think of the positive things. Like, this is
Hmm.
nothing I can do about this.
Right.
I think if you're busy and there's so much real estate out there to sell for you, right? So it's just like, okay, let's not get in our own heads. I think like when you see people doing that, you're like, you're doing this to yourself. Yes, this happened,
You're
but you're
choosing
now,
it.
right, you're on this
Yeah.
hamster wheel, and it's like, you're hurting yourself here. You got to move on.
Yeah, no one else is dealing with it but you. We went to the Summit building, and I took a picture of the city from the top of the Summit building, and that's my wallpaper on my computer and on my phone. It's a visual reminder every second of every day. There's so much more shit out there for me to get. I don't have time to cry about nothing. Like, I open my computer and I'm like, all right, what about here? Let's go there. I'll never run out of opportunities so long as I'm in New York City. So I'll just stay focused on that.
And we saw at the end of season one, you got the townhouse listing. So how is the move into New York going? I joked that you were the Brooklyn queen, but
And I am the Brooklyn queen, and I love Brooklyn, and that's just never ever going to change. And that's a lot of what people see on season two is that battle between like ambitiously wanting to pursue something, but your heart is somewhere else. Like there's reasons why I gravitate to Brooklyn. I always say that, I go where the love is, and that's where I have been loved. I have felt the love. I feel the love. I feel the neighborhood vibes. There's just something that you slide into when you're in Brooklyn, and it's a good fit for me. And I don't want my career ambitions to water that down in any way. And I think in this season I'm going through so much um turmoil internally about it because I'm used to dealing with people that know me from Polish Bar and that know my reputation, and I'm not having to audition for this client. I really can just get started and be trusted to do great work because that's all they've ever known of me. Going across the bridge, you have to prove yourself to these people. They don't know anything about you, and you have to, start from scratch over there. I have felt like I still feel like Brooklyn is where I belong and Brooklyn is where I thrive because Brooklyn loves me and I love Brooklyn. Manhattan, I didn't have that experience. It just hasn't been that great. I've had some great wins in Manhattan, but a lot of losses. A lot of that has to do with the market too. They're very different markets, like things are moving and shaking in Brooklyn, and Manhattan is very slow. I'm starting to see a lot of Manhattan agents in Brooklyn, to be honest with you. I'm like, oh, I haven't seen you over here before. How are you? you know? So it's part of the market, but a part of it is that it's just a different beast. I'm still building in Manhattan. I think about 40% of my listings are in area Manhattan, but I really have to show up differently there because I don't have a reputation there. I can't rest on that. It stretches you in certain ways that are not most comfortable, obviously. But I think developmentally and for my career, it's probably the best decision I could have made.
that's good. It's
Pain